Oh dear, I am unhappy with the direction that this project took, which here looks the way I started, and then I started working on the tops of the cranes and going out with my binoculars and drawing the actual structures, and I ended up with these things which were much more regular and not as chaotic looking and a little bit more refined, and I don't like that. And so I went back to the drawing board, which in this case is my couch. That's where my drawing board is. And I started thinking about this thing, and I started drawing it with a pen and paper. And I think what I want to do is have the bottom third maybe, be mainly brown construction paper, and maybe toward the way bottom just have it be torn and sort of frayed like this, and sort of to look like the just the dirt and the grime and the mud of the earth from which we all sprung. And you have the very clumsy looking construction things happening here, and holes being dug and things being pushed around by workers. Then up a little bit further, we'd have the foundations of some new buildings that you see these cranes doing. And then in the background, there'd be an area sort of in the middle of the column, sort of at eye level. This is about, the gallery ceiling is about 12 feet, 12 and a half feet. So if I were standing here, my head would be, let's see, I have to make myself look realistic here. Here I am. Here's my V-shaped torso, my abs, washboard abs, looking at the wonderment. Where's my eye? My teeth. Okay, my pearly whites. So around at eye level would be maybe more, this is mainly browns. This can be kind of reds where the things come up with the cabs. I'm going to make new cabs with much more clumsy looking, more aggressive looking cranes up here with their spars coming out on the girders coming down. And then in this area, sort of at eye level, what I'll do is I'll have a lot of different colors of cardboard, and you'd see sort of just rectangles representing, the buildings of the big city, and I might include some of my logos and stuff from boxes, leave some of the lettering sort of intact, so it looks like, the signs of commerce and the big city. And so it would be more of a statement than just a construction scene. I don't know what the statement is, but that's the plan. And then I might even throw, this is a completely different plan than I thought. Can I even put some blue paper back there to represent the beautiful sky? I don't think so. I don't think adds to it. That's a little too realistic. But, so let's just get rid of that clear. So this is the plan now. Again, I got sidetracked by looking through my binoculars. I think I should have just looked through my filthy glasses instead and kept it crude. And because these things, the vertical things are really, really crude. They're clumsy and crude, and clumsier and cruder than they need to be, probably for this new idea, but I'll keep it that way because I sort of want this to be very aggressive. So what I have to do, this is what I have to do today. New, color fill, gray. So the column is octagonal. Make an octagonal column here, and each side is equal, more or less. It's a poured cement column from 1920 or something, so I have to go down and measure a side. And then I have to sit down and think, how do I want to do this? Do I want to build it in halves and actually join the two together? Or do I want to build it in eighths and join the four together? Oh, I'm sorry. Do I want to draw it in fourths and join the four panels together to make a thing? I think I'm going to try to do it in halves, which means that I need to build something that will stay relatively rigid. Right? Is that what I have to do? I mean, I don't know. I think for something like this, it's interesting because I'm drawing something that you cannot see the entirety of without walking around it. So my composition aspect, it's not going to be, composed like a traditional painting, where I have to really make it make sense. But I do want to figure out a way. I'd like to have, some things span a corner, so there could be a part of a tractor here and part of a tractor on the other side to make it seem more rounded. So it's not just so faceted. So I could actually apply those things later to connect the sides. But I'd rather see then it would be hard for me to take it down without ripping and tearing. And I'd like to, if I can find someone in the building that lives on the first floor that would like to buy this from me or get it on loan or something, that would be nice to do. In my building, the columns become more tapered as they go up, of course. The first column is the ground floor is the fattest, and the gallery's on the ground floor. I'm on the third floor, and my column is covered up by construction. You don't see it. I do know someone on the second floor that has a completely freestanding column, and she likes the art I do, so maybe I can have her put it on display when it's done. Do you have a column? It doesn't need a column. It could be freestanding. The way I'm going to build it, it could it would be strong enough, I presume, to stand up without a column behind it. So anyway, this is my new plan. So my plan today is to go down and measure the columns and start building the structure. And what I'll do is I have some nice, relatively stiff, firm cardboard that I can use for the understructure. And part of the problem here is I don't have room in my house to build something that's even half of this easily. I have to move all sorts of shit around to do it. So that's the rub. I suppose I could build it in the gallery. I could build as many of the parts as I need in advance. Go downstairs when the gallery is closed, put it together, put the panels together, and then what do I do with them? They have to be stored for 3 weeks. But, oh God. Of course, why am I doing this? No one's going to be able to see it because of this virus. I have a hunch it'll be all fine. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today, and I'm glad I figured this out before I did more of these things. I'm almost done with the cabs, and I can use those on a different project that is more refined a little bit down here. I may end up using them. I might just make new. No, I'm not. I'm going to make these crude. I want this to be very aggressive and crude, and not very. I want this to be crude. I don't want it to be refined. And I think the tops of those cabs became more refined. And I want it to be crude. That's the plan, folks. Crude. Bye.